Hello techies, I'm Divya here. On behalf of CyberBrainer, don't you think the world of tech is evolving faster than ever? Now is the perfect time to dive in and build the skills that will take you places. With CyberBrainer, we are putting you in the driver's seat of your own future. We at CyberBrainer don't just teach your interest. We believe that knowledge is power, but it's applied knowledge that truly sets you apart. Whether you're diving into data science, mastering artificial intelligence, or exploring the world of cybersecurity, our courses are designed to give you the skills that matter. So let's jump into the session and make the future yours today. Thank you.
All. We started with our first topic and we're still on the same. We have a little hands on for everything that we have discussed far. And as part of the topics that we have covered, starting from the organization we have created, supervise the organization, we have created class centers, we have created locations. I hope most of you have already created locations today. All we're going to do a little more hands on creation of the location and adding that into a location hierarchy. Let's do that and jump into the tenant. While the task is simple, you do create location, give it a name. Since I am using Flexicon as my unique and create Flexicon Boston, and in the location usage, I'll always use business side because I try to use it, keep it as real as possible, though you can use others as well. But the options that you get by using others might disappear. Let me show you an example from that. Why I picked business side? Because in real time, my office is in Boston, is in California, is in many nations across Europe. That is what my use case is. Anytime you create a location, create it as a business site. And in that case, you have to define a type. Whether it's corporate office, whether it's headquarters, you will see a lot of custom as well. A lot of custom ones as well, like AI's headquarters. This is definitely a custom one. Building is a default one. Corporate office is a default one. We'll keep it simple. We'll keep it straightforward. We'll use corporate office and business side because if you pick up business side, you get an additional option of this in which you have to define certain values, like the time profile. This is nothing but standard working hours for that location. Since it's Boston, it's in the US, it's 40 hours. You can also add in your own time profile as well by a simple task called as maintain time profile. This is a task maintain time profiles. If you use this, you can add in your own time profile. Let's try that out. Just click a plus sign. In real-time scenario, you won't be needing this because the organization will already have this. If you're using it a customer and if you are using it an implementation and basically starting the configuration from scratch, you might need to add this. But in most cases, Workday already has some delivered like standard 40 hours, which would be named something like this. Standard hours, standard hours. You see, a lot of these versions is because, again, there are people testing in this. That's how we have created a lot of these. Now you can pick anything. It won't make much difference. I'll just pick the one that I have. And I just wanted to show that you can add in your profile as well if you want. Like time profile description, I can add FlexCon standard hours. And then you get the scheduled weekly hours based on what your standard hours would be. Your scheduled weekly hours. This is nothing but what's the allowed number of hours you have. Now if I start here, I have that time profile added here. I saw a hand raised. Abhishek Rashmi, I think that's your hand raised. One question, wherever we create any such examples in the system, we see already like a lot of objects already added. In real-time scenarios, these all will be empty and we have to add all these objects based on client's requirement. Do we have any kind of, a bulk report import kind of system or any tool wherein we can fill that data in Mongo and all this data will get updated in work? It depends on what particular action you're trying to do. Yes, it definitely would be bulk imports. But those are specific. They are available for each and every area of module. Let's say, if you want to book upload work address, you can do that. If you want to book change someone's business title, like maybe 100 employees business title, you can do that. If you want to upload board compensation information, you can do that. You already said that there you see a lot of these duplicate objects being created. It's just because this environment is being used by multiple users in real time. Specifically, if we talk about time profile, we will have some default workday delivered values like standard hour 40. Not everywhere you will have to do imports. Some places, Workday already has some default values which you can leverage. That is something that you don't need or you do not want to use. You can create your own as well. But there are options to bulk load which are called EBs, which is like the last topic in the course. And Rohan, thanks for that. And there is one more thing, Rohan. See, whenever in a project we go, we have a dedicated requirement gathering workbook wherein we explain to the customers about any specific detail like related to location, how the location works in Workday. Likewise, and then we will get the requirement from them. In Workday also, do we have any such workbook or something? Not delivered by workbook, it has to be something which an organization creates and it will be different for each and every organization. Workday does not deliver anything like that. I was just asking this question based on like from implementation point of view. When we go to a client, obviously that client will have their own set of requirements. Sometimes they send it to us either on an Excel workbook or some documents which is provided by Workday or some other HCM company. What happens is if you are going to a client site and giving them a demo that this is how the system works, in most cases you have a working workbook for yourself which is designed by someone at the organization that you can easily make notes because that particular workbook will have. It can be an Excel spreadsheet, it can be a working Google Doc. It could be anything which will have specific questions like, what would you like to be your default time profile? What would you like your time zone, etc., etc. You will, as an implementation partner consultant, you will ask these questions to your client and the answers will be your requirement gathering. Also, apart from that, if they have any additional requirements, they'll mention those to you and you'll have to make notes for that. Usually what I've seen, I've been part of the implementation cycles as well. And also on the client side. And what pre-COVID era, what used to happen is implementation consultant used to travel to our offices where we'll have dedicated long, like 4-5 hour sessions. They'll demo us what the functionality is. And they usually come in a group of 2, one for making notes and one for giving the demo. Basically, one is at the senior position, much more experience. And the other one is like basically kind of a learning hand and they make notes of all these requirements. Start the client. Usually that is a pre-COVID era, but post-COVID era, I've not seen any offices for the last 3 years. I don't know how those are working now. I'm sure it's all visual, it's all managed some or the other way, but it's something that one company would provide. You get to put in the local time zone, like local is basically what time zone you're working in. You can just add that. And this should be changed. It should be specific. -8. Usually use specific Los Angeles. You can do a display language as well. Don't need to enter on other things, but definitely we populated the business side. We added some details. If you notice that we have not added any superior location, that means your location hierarchy are not assigned anything here. You definitely need contact information. If I try to save this, I get an error because you need one piece of contact information whenever you pick up a business site as your location. I'll add in an address. Make sure to mark it as a primary business because you will get an error. Likewise, we have created FlexCon. We can pick up multiple options as well. We'll give it a piece of contact information. Just a piece of advice here because someone has changed the date formatting. Like now it's month, date and year, but at some places you might see date, month and year. Just make sure that you check in those before populating that. Maybe an actual address and don't go there. Anyone is in Westfield, California. Oh, you have an error because the field time profile is required and must have value. Not populate anything here. Change these two. We have created two locations. One is Boston, one is California. The next thing is to club them together into a location hierarchy. That would be create location hierarchy. After the organization event, I'll continue to use the one that I've been using since day one. Someone duplicated that output. Should have created their own. My friends, give it a name. Let's say I do it. I don't give any code, anything. Now in this case, I'll pick up the location. Someone asked this question yesterday. The type of organization I'm creating. I'll try to keep the same as my subtype as well. I can assign it to a company or a call center, but I want to keep it open that other organizations can also use that. Now I've created this location America. Now I'll navigate back to my locations that I've created. Texas, Boston and California, and I'll attach it to the location hierarchy. Now, if you see something here, my superior location is empty. Now after this step, you go to the related actions, go to the location, assign a location here. You enter the reorganization event that you have been using since day one, or you can create a new event needed and add in the one that you have created. I think I made a mistake. This is the one that I have. The mistake that I did is I did not name this one as FlexCon America. I name it as America, which is absolutely incorrect. Let's see if I have an option to edit this. This is some things you cannot change. All I have FlexCon America. Now I'll do the same for. It's from California. Go there, go to the location, assign location. Here are these organizational events. And I'll give the name FlexCon, automatically pick up the one that is there. That's it. Now I have created a location hierarchy for FlexCon America, which has two locations, Boston and California. I can look at the structure that I have. I can definitely add as many locations as needed, based on where my company is spread across. While that loads, the next piece of task that everyone has to do is create a couple of locations in Europe area, like Netherlands, Copenhagen, or any Germany, any EMA location, basically South Africa. Middle East as well, and create a location hierarchy as EMEA. And assign those location hierarchy and basically attach the locations in the location. That would be a small assignment, but a very effective assignment, because the next thing that we'll do is create positions. And in those creation of those positions, we will be using the locations that we have created. We won't be using. Therefore, removing any confusion on the duplicacy of the other locations, we'll be using the locations that we have created. Save us a lot of time. And let's see if this is populated. Now you can see FlexCon America as FlexCon Boston and California. You can skip these, the other ones. This is some messed up configuration someone did. This is my location hierarchy. As you can see, these are my locations. Now you don't see any members here because this location has not been used anywhere to hire anyone. That will be done. Then you can see the count. Like you see a county of 5,300, which is absurd, but you'll see a similar count here. Maybe 1 to 10, not this much. But once you start hiring, you'll get those counts. The assignment for today is create location hierarchies, add in multiple location to those. And once you finish that, that would be the completion of the assignment. But at least a minimum of 2 location hierarchies, one for EMA, one for America. If you want to add in one for JPEG as well, that's up to you. If you want to practice more, I'll leave that to you guys. Any questions on this? Yes, Abhishek, go ahead. Rohan, what is the other one you said in email? Thank you, countries. Use the prefix or suffix for your unique ID that you have been using. I think I have another question. Yes, Mira, go ahead. I wanted to ask that now we are just creating a location and location hierarchy. We are not connecting it with any company which we have created, or are we? No, nothing yet. No problem. Thank you. Any more questions? Rohan, 1 minute. For creating companies, is there any upload option? Like, basically many companies have many entities, like some are in like hundreds. Is there any XML file or something like that? Is there any option like that to upload? Yes, you can do that with an EIB. That is a possibility. That will be discussed in upcoming sessions, or that use case might not be but a different use case in the EIB session. But you will get an idea how that would be done. Thank you. Manish, do you have a question? Yes, while creating the reorganization, I see my profile like, can you? Shall I say you how I'm getting the women's confusion? I created the Lobric company. And when I go to the create reorganization, I created a batch like CF1. BAF 09-2022, but batch is in capital letter. But when I go to create organization, I find 3 of them. I go to the first one because I think I have created that, but I find similar 2 types of it. Will there be any duplicacy of my company or call center related to reorganization? Can you help me navigate to where you're looking at? You just went when you said that someone has created the same thing. What I have did. You went to the first one. But there were 2 other options with the same name. But those are not I created. I remember the one that I created. Let me open that page first. This is where you're sitting. Yes, we know that we have created this. No, I have created CF1. This is not mine. I have created CF1. CF everything lies in caps. That should not be an issue. The first one. There is another one on the second one. If, by mistake, if I go to the second one and click it there, will there be a duplicacy of my reorganization or no? No, it won't be a duplicacy of a reorganization. But if you will try to pull out data in a report based on these reorganization events, then you will see both of these with organizations that you have created. There won't be any duplicacy. There will be no merging or there will be no error. Because I'm in the first one and goes to the second one, I click it there. There will be no error in pulling any of my company and cost center details. No errors there. Thank you, sure. I've got a question. This is your first class. You have the recordings. Is there any group for this batch where you share information regarding firms? I think all the information is shared in the Bhagavi. I'll request you to check with the support team for any batch related information or the timings or any questions that you have. They'll provide you with all the information. I think they have a portal which everyone has access to where all this information exists. Just check with the support team and they'll be happy to answer all your questions. Coming back to the location topic, any questions on locations or anything? What we have done far? Yesterday, I have created a location hierarchy, and from that I have assigned locations to the location hierarchy. And today, what you have done? You have created a location and you have assigned it to a location hierarchy. Both are same or there will be a difference. Do you have the name of the location or location hierarchy you have created? Location hierarchy GDR, South India, something I created. GDR Delta Romeo, GDR. Is this one of your locations? GDR, the last one hierarchy, go to the hierarchy and I have assigned locations here. Like I have created related actions and reorganization and assigned location I have used. And I send locations from this hierarchy. That's also. Both are same. That's the magic. Yes, that is the same. You do it to a different way. I do it to a different way. It does not make a difference. Thank you, yep. Now I'll again open up the board for any questions. But something important I'll share now is what we have done far marks the foundation of whatever we'll be going forward with. Tomorrow's session will not be on any Workday related thing. Tomorrow's session obviously it will be on Workday related, but not from the configuration standpoint, but understanding the different tenants that Workday has, like sandbox production implementation. There are different environments that Workday provides, and each one of them has a different use case to it. I know some of us are already familiar with them who are working in those environments, but for others, and I'll also share the Workday release cycle. Workday, at the end of the day, is a software and software need updates. How those updates come in and what you need to do as a Workday consultant. Tomorrow's session will be dedicated for that, and the day after we don't have a session. On Friday, we don't have a session. It is Thursday evening for the folks in the US and Friday morning for the folks in India. You have a good amount of time to recap everything. On Monday the next week, the first session next week. What I need from every one of you is to have your own company, have at least 4 levels of organizations. What I mean by that is, if you're starting from level 0, level 1, level 2, level 3, each level should have at least, except for the level 0, all of these levels should have at least a minimum of 3 supervisory organizations. And each of the organizations should have a minimum of 2 to 3 employees in that. At a minimum 2, the best is 4. And create at least 4 locations, 4 to 6 locations, which we have already shared, 2 or 3 for India, 2 or 3 for the US. Have all those things ready, because whatever we'll be doing next will be the linking of all these things together and understanding the related concepts with those. Or you have good amount of time. You already know how to create company, how to create locations, how to. The hiring is not yet done. You can skip that. Just create 4 levels of organization and create multiple locations. And that should be it. We'll be doing hiring the next week and I'll show you how that works. That's all for today. If you have any questions, let's discuss those. If not, feel free to drop off if you have other commitments. But if you have any questions, please stay back and I'll be here for a few moments. Yes, Lavanya, go ahead. Yes, how? When we create a supervisory organization, you said there is no delete for it. We only can inactivate. But later on, if we want to activate the organization, can we do that to add on or transfer the members from one organization to that organization? I don't have a clear answer to that because I think someone else also asked this question, maybe in this patch or the other, and I still don't have an answer to this. But I'll be looking for that over this weekend and get back to you. Thank you. Rohan, you said yesterday that we can change the status of the supervisory organization only we have 0 members in it. Am I correct? And Lavanya was asking about transferring the employees from one organization to another. If it is an inactive one, it won't have any members in it. Does she mean that she wants to transfer active? No. What she means is that if there's an inactive organization, is there a way to make it active again and then transfer people into it? Rohan, while creating locations, sorry, you were saying something. No, go ahead. While creating location, you said we can stick on to business site, but today, while I tried giving workspace in one of the options, one of the locations, and it said it cannot be set as a primary location. It has to be subordinated to business site. Is that the reason we have to always stick on to business site? In most cases, yes, because any organization that you're working with, if they have offices across different nations, that means there are locations where employees go and work. Or basically, it's a place even in the virtual environment. It's a place where employees report to. It has to be a business site. If you pick it as a workplace, this would be like one office, one floor and multiple people sitting from different offices or different organizations, which a lot of organizations are adopting now, but it again has to come under a business site. That is what that error or the message is showing you, that you pick a business site And if you're creating another location, you have to associate it with the parent location. Basically, and it's not that straightforward because the definitions of what a workspace is, what a business site, will be different for different organizations. That is why the common practice that we have seen, or at least I have seen in other organizations, is they prefer using business site for every new location they create, and that works well. The reporting becomes clear. The number of people sitting in that particular location or reporting to that location also becomes very clear. They just use business site and keep things simple. That's all. Roll, thank you. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.